Hello, hello. I'm Mr. Writer, your host here at Author in the Headlights. Thank you for joining us. And for those that haven't yet or that are new, if you'd hit that subscribe button, you won't miss a single episode. Now, today, we've got Sandra Wagner Wright. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning. Aloha kakahiaka.
And yes, because she happens to be in Hawaii. Okay, Sandra, we won't tell them that we goofed up and did this whole thing already.
My
Well,
lips are.
maybe we will. And so this is a second take. Okay, now you write, I presume it is historic fiction, although with your doctorate in history, I'm not so sure. So why don't you tell us what you write?
Well, I do write historical fiction. Um, in my previous life, I wrote straight narrative, nonfiction, history in my official academic slot. And after I served my time in academia, although I was very fortunate, um, I was had good colleagues at the University of Hawaii, but after I had completed that portion of my professional life, I did what I really wanted to do in the first place, which is research and write. Um, and I write historical fiction because I like to have the freedom to let the characters who were living people, and I access them through what they left behind, but let them speak as I interpret they would have spoken. And I have the freedom to delve into whatever historical period I choose. So, for example, my specialty was Northumbrian history, which was what Saxon Heroines was. I would have been more restrictive. They would have said, but you don't have the right paperwork for that. And now I just go with my heart
Yeah,
and write
in
what I like.
academia versus your writing version of it.
Yes,
That is a series, Women of Determination and Courage, as I understand, and you've got three
mhm.
books in that.
I do. I do. They are all standalone. They just needed a organizational basket, and I said, well, what do they have in common? And that was it. Rama's Labyrinth was my first uh, foray into historical fiction, so of course it took the longest to do. She also crammed an awful lot into her life. It's incredible. And her legacy, Mukti, near Pune in India, is still a functioning ashram. It is a Christian mission, which is how she set it up. And she still cares, or her organization still cares for women and orphans, and not just on site, but in surrounding villages and so forth.
That's cool. Now that's you've got three books, Rama's Labyrinth, Two Coins, and Saxon Heroines, but they're not connected really in any way other than you've got these women of power and structure. But your newest set, as I understand, is the Salem stories. You've
Yes,
got two books in that at the moment.
yes, I
And
do.
the newest is Sea Tigers and Merchants. That one came out not
Yes.
too long ago.
And it's been very well received. I've just been delighted. We just received it's called a brag medallion. And
Sounds good.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. They are all writers who self-publishing. It is a self-publishing award, and they have criteria. I think there's about 12 on a scale of 1 to 5. And just because you apply doesn't mean they let you enter, if you will.
Yeah.
But yes, I was tickled to get that. It means a lot when your
Yeah.
peers.
Well, it is well written. I have listened to the audio version of that through Audible, and I've also read basically every Patrick O'Brian seagoing sagas and Ken Foley's Fallen Giants. That's on my shelf. Got that. So I can say, hey, you did good work.
I thank you, and I'm glad you were able to hear the audio because uh, I think Krista Lewis is just an amazing narrator, and I have to give her a shout out because
Yeah, no, it's done
when
well,
I
really well.
listen, when I listen to my words, it's like I wrote that. That's pretty good.
I say that all the time. my book, Stone,
Yes,
The Adventures of Ronan Stone. I listen back to that when I'm driving sometimes. And it's like, wow, I can't believe I wrote that. I understand totally.
that's better than the other version. Oh, I can't believe I.
Well, yeah, ooh, true enough. So Sea Tigers and Merchants came out most recently, but the other is Ambition, Arrogance, and Pride. That makes us Salem
Yeah.
stories, and that's early American history.
Yes, ambition starts, I think it's the 1740s. That's the early 18th century. At the time, the Seven Years' War is going on. So we have Britain versus France. And these folks, it's amazing because they've got these itty bitty boats. I'm sorry, those boats are tiny.
They
And
aren't huge,
whipping
no.
up and down, whipping up and down that eastern seaboard, trading with the Caribbean areas. Uh, I don't want to say they smuggle exactly, but sometimes they take on cargoes they're not supposed to. And then when you have a war going on, then you have extra pirates, you have privateers. It's a remarkably dangerous way to make a living, and they do.
It truly was. It truly was. But it made America part of it. We
Mhm.
survived it. We got past it, and the rest of the world took us for real because that was early America,
Yeah.
and we weren't what we became yet.
And we
Yeah,
didn't care if there were navigation acts. We just did what we did.
we did what we did. Yes, and we were picked on by some of the countries of the world. It was a different time in the world. It certainly was. Yeah.
It was, yeah. And Hobbes was right. Life was nasty, brutish, and often short.
So, now you have a background in history as your doctorate, I do know, but does it take that to do good historical fiction?
I'm sure there's a debate about that. I don't know. It happens to be the path I was on, but I was always good at school. So, oh, there's more school I can go to. Let's do it. Um, I think you have to have a consciousness of what's going on and you have to have a commitment. You have to care, I think, about getting it right. It's important to get it right. All the time we see things and yeah, they've got the costumes, but they've kind of twisted what happened and most people wouldn't notice, but it colors how they look at things. I don't think you have to have degrees in history, but I think you have to have a commitment to getting it right.
Well, there's a difference between historical fiction and just fiction. And there is what's the word? Biographical fiction, which
Yeah.
is also another offshoot of that, which your work is sort of kind of like, but
Yeah.
you keep it in the story version.
Hmm. Hmm. Because these people are real and I fell in love with history reading in middle school and I read a lot. I was bored, but Jean Plady and stories like that. And it's a whole pathway to bring people into history. And certainly brought me in because I always saw it as these are stories about real people. This is what happened to them. This is how they made pathway decisions, why they made them, you know,
Yeah.
made a difference. Yeah.
Yes, and as of that, they've said, history that is not remembered will tend to be relived. So, and it's can be rough. It was not a gentle time. So,
It was not. It was not. And Life Before Penicillin, I'm sorry, was short.
absolutely,
Huge game changer. That
it
was.
we have come a long ways, and I hope we keep growing and don't go
Mhm.
backwards.
Yes, please. Yes.
Sandra, I want to thank you for being part of us today. And for
Yeah.
the rest of you, thank you for joining us here at Author in the Headlights, sponsored by DurhamandPublishing.com. Until next time.